All right. Hey, welcome to another edition of Wrench Ride Repeat. Today we're going to mess with the old shovel here. We were screwing around with it a couple weeks ago, trying to get the lights and everything to work and trying to get it started, and we accidentally pinched these two wires. If you're going to zoom in on that a little bit, and I was going to black tape them, but I thought no, that's a half-ass way to do it. So we're going to cut these, strip them, solder them back together, and then put some heat shrink on them and button that up. We were going to do a carburetor video, and I did a nice intro for it and everything else, and we got into tearing the carburetor apart, and I broke one of the towers off where the pin goes through the hole to float in. So we had to change direction, and here we are. So I'm getting the soldering iron set up. I got my station kind of set up here, and we're just going to go through the motions. So let's see how we do. Hopefully I have enough wire there. Yeah, I really don't want to tear that off of there again. So I'm just going to cut it where we pinched it on both of them. Okay, and then we're going to strip these guys just a little bit. You don't need a whole lot of wire exposed. All right, that's probably even just a little bit too much, but we'll go with it. Okay, that's workable. Yeah, I like that. So I haven't made any content for a while because about 2 weeks ago, like an idiot, I thought it would be a good time to go out and do some kayaking, and that was not a good idea. And I ended up wiping out and bitched up my elbow real good. So I was laid up for a week and really couldn't do anything anyway. And so I'm all healed up now, still got the compression band on, but at least I can move my arm and pick my nose, and I couldn't even do that a week ago. So we got the wires exposed. All right, these guys, give them a little twist, that little nub there. I think I want just a hair more. Just a hair more. There we go. So twist these. All right, both sides. Because it's braided wire, and if you don't, it frays all over the place. And then when you go to solder it, you have little pieces of wire sticking up all over the place. And we're gonna hit them with some flux. Okay. And then we're gonna do what's called tinning. So once the iron's hot enough, let me see where we're at here. Am I hot enough to melt the solder yet? Yeah, so I'm going to put a little bit of solder on the iron, and then come over here and just touch the wire. All right. And what that'll do is that'll put solder on the wire, and when you go to solder them, they're already tinned and they're ready to accept the solder. So I'm going to get over here, get a little more solder. Yeah, see how it makes the wire shiny, because now it's got solder on it, and the flux helps the solder flow. So now your wires are all ready to go to be soldered together. And this is the tricky part, and I'm not quite sure now how I'm going to do that yet, because I may just kind of, no, I can't do that. Can't do that. All right, so I'm going to have to kind of do it as I go. But first, we need some heat shrink. Heat shrink. Get the heat shrink. And we don't need much because these are just tiny little wires. And we don't have a whole lot of room to work in to begin with. So, can I do that? Yeah, I think we can do that. So, the trick to this game is to put your heat shrink on before you solder the wires. You don't know how many times I've done that and wired it up, and it's all nice and sweet, and I didn't put the heat shrink on it. So then you're kind of boned with that. So I'm going to do it this way. Just a pinch, clip. Okay. Now, how did we do this before? No, that's not right, is it? You might have been right. Okay. Get all the wires tucked in there. Over or under, it really doesn't matter. It's going to go one way or the other. So get that in there. See, we're pinching wires already. Get that in there. Let's see how we did. Keys on. No smoke. All right. We're in business. Now to fix that problem. So I'm going to cut it here for now, and we're going to get into that starter issue, but this is all done. Pretty simple. Sometimes you need another hand to hold everything together, but the zip tie job we did worked pretty well. So let me straighten stuff up here, and we'll be right back. Okay, so while we were off camera here, we did a little prep. Of course, I put the handlebar back together. It works, but now the solenoid is clicking when you try and start it. It's not engaging properly. What I've heard is I don't have to take the primary apart. I should just be able to pull this solenoid out, and we'll check it. But there's a whole mechanism in here that engages the ring gear and everything else. So we may end up pulling this primary part after the fact. But for now, I think I'm going to take the wires off. We disconnect the battery. I'm going to take the wires off the solenoid. I'm going to pull that solenoid and see what's wrong with it, see if there is anything wrong with it. But it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing when you hit the start button. It's not turning the engine over, and that's really what you want. So we'll pull this guy off. All right. Pull this off. Oh, that's really right there, isn't it? Okay. Nice and easy. Let's try that. So next week, while I'm sitting here tinkering, next week we're going to another Jam On Productions motorcycle swap meet in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So I'm going to go down there and make some video, and boy, is that crusted up. Holy crap. That might be our whole problem. We just have bad contact. See that? When I took this wire off, all this rust, all that crap come out of there. There's terminals, even though they're copper, are still corrosion. So we're going to get that off of there, and we'll clean all that stuff up. We'll put some dielectric grease on it and go from there. So I've got to get a small wrench, and I don't think I have a crescent up here that'll work. There we go. Okay, now we're coming off there. Okay. No washer, just the connector. Okay, so now all our wires are off, and get them out of the way. Now we'll get in here and try and take this off. Now, I've never done this before, and the starter, I've never seen a starter like this before, because Evos are set up differently where the starter comes in from this side instead of, well, the starter solenoid's underneath. So it's a whole different kind of mechanism. So we may take this off and it doesn't do anything. I mean, where it doesn't come out of the motorcycle. I don't want to hit my head again. Oh, there's a neutral there. And it looks like the solenoid is going to come out no problem. So I have even off camera, I shorted the solenoid with a screwdriver and it still didn't do anything. So I'm kind of surprised to see what's going on here. Might have to refer to the old manual. And there we are. Okay. Slide that guy down there. There's your other screw. It seems a little dry in there. And it's, you know, you could probably dig into this a little bit, but I think we're going to... I wonder if the solenoid is just dirty and needs to be opened up and cleaned. All right. So we pulled the solenoid off the bike. That sucker's still warm, Bob. And we got the manual out here, and it shows you how to test the solenoid. Okay. So what we did was, it says take a battery, put a jump wire on it, and you want a jumper from the little pole to the short fat pole, and check for continuity. Well, it was wide open. And that solenoid got hot. It's still hot, and it's been connected for several minutes now. So we're going through the manual here. It says to check the pull-in continuity, and it was supposed to be less than 0.3 ohms, and it was 0.6. So that tells me something's wrong there. We checked the hold-in coil continuity. There's pull-in and hold-in, and it was a better, but yeah, we're not getting 0 ohms like they're saying in the manual. So we're going to open this sucker up, and I just loosened that bolt, and you can tell already I don't believe that stud should be spinning and open like that. So I think we have a dead short inside. And where did I put my meter? Let's just check this thing around a little bit. So what this is on the bike is, this is your battery terminal, this is your starter terminal, and this is that comes from your starter relay that engages this thing. So you should have, I believe... Yeah, you have yeah. Those should not be singing right now. Overload, okay. Let me tighten that back down a little bit, just so it's not wobbling. Okay, nothing there. Oh, I don't know. It's kind of singing and then it's not singing. So technically, when this is like this, it should not be beeping at all. It should be an open, right? And then when you engage the relay, it closes those connections, and that's what sends power to your starter. And this, okay, nothing there. Boy, I don't like how loose that is. Something's telling me, man, that sucker's almost too hot to touch. All right, so we're going to take this thing apart, and we'll be back as soon as I get it open. It might take a little bit here, so we'll be back in a few. Okay, so we tore the solenoid apart, and come to find out that electrical engineering in 1980 was very awful. Okay, so what we have here is, here's the cap, here's the little part. The wire sticks up through that little hole there, okay, just sort of like that. Okay, and then this guy goes on here like that, and then your post comes up through the hole, and that's where that connected. That one's not so bad. There's enough wire there, I could fix that one. But this one, can you get the shot of that, Bob? Is just a little nub, just surface, and I can't get that to come up any further. And that wire is very short in there, so I don't know if it was made like that or whatever. You know, you can see it's very corroded in there. The screws are corroded, so those little holes where those wires come up through aren't sealed. So over time, moisture and water and stuff's going to get in there and cause some problems. And all that's in this sucker is a coil. And then we come to find out that the cap here is cracked all the way through, so that's no good. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of put this thing back together, and we're going to buy a new one. We're going to just replace the solenoid and go from there and see how we can get her to start then. So for now, we're good to go. When I get the solenoid back in, we'll make an update video. Till then, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thanks. See you next time.